What is going on, guys? Welcome to Double Tap to Smash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to the FGC. This is episode 375, and on today's episode, we've got Static G is back from Combo Breaker 2024. We're going to be talking about Slayer and Akuma, and we're in day one of Multiversus return. I'm, of course, Crash, and with me, like I said, we've got Static Gorilla back from the road.
Yeah, what's up? I'm here.
He's looking pretty burnt out on many things. We've got Meza.
Hello.
And of course, we've got the voice of reason, of course, behind the show. We've got Ja in the building.
I hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial Day.
Yeah. Happy Memorial Day. I completely forgot because I was busy traveling. I didn't get a chance to enjoy the grill and the cookhouse. This is the first year for me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sad about that.
I drove back the whole day. Literally 12 hours just.
So with that, Memorial Day weekend right behind us, guys. For all the returning listeners that are coming through, we appreciate you guys for an extra 2 quarters for another credit this week. And for those that are stepping up to the cab for the first time, checking us out, we appreciate y'all hanging with us. Chapters are available on YouTube, Spotify, and any platform that supports podcasting 2.0. So check out all the awesome subject matter we're going to be talking about here. Before we get started on the actual show this week, we always take a look at last week's show because we had a question of the week and a poll to get into. We're actually going to get into the poll off the rip. We had Akuma came out last week, and we wanted to just know off the rip, are you guys maining Akuma in Street Fighter 6? Because he's looking like he's going to be very potent. We're going to talk about him later. But we had a overabundance, actually, of 76% saying no.
Oh, surprise.
Which I was a little bit surprised as well. I thought it was going to skew more towards the yes, because Akuma is just like, hey, I'm Ryu, but I do evil karate, right? But, with way more tools. So I'm surprised that a lot of people have picked them up. Maybe that might change over time because, like I said, we're going to talk about him later, but he's looking strong.
Yes.
Yes. Static has so much to talk about with Akuma. He's just waiting for us to actually bring it up because he's going to lose himself. So much.
I'll just say this.
So much.
Essentially, I think that 76% makes sense just because people were waiting for their balance patches and characters and stuff like that.
Also, you know what? Absolutely. Good point. Because of the changes could be a make or break, and people are trying to give their their go-tos right now that they've been playing for a year the benefit of that before. Maybe jumping ship, but we'll have to see. JP players might be in shambles this patch, according to how Nemo reacted to it anyway. And then we, of course, got our question of the week. We're going to talk about Multiversus later, but it is Multiversus centric. It came out today, and we wanted to ask you guys just straight up. Do you think Multiversus is going to recapture what it had last year, right? Some 20 million users, 150,000 concurrent highest peak on Steam. That's just on Steam. Obviously, there's way more on console as well. With what we were discussing last week and what they're doing right and what we're going to talk about later. You guys gave us some really awesome feedback. We do appreciate it. From Discord, Hora Lukes or Lou or Hora Lou. I don't know if the X is solid or not, dog, but he's saying, I think just because of the new characters, but the hype will not be as long as it did on original launch, but just because we've seen it before, the novelty is gone. Kind of stating like, hey, it might not hit us as hard because it's not like a new like it was last year, but rather it was, so we kind of already see what's coming. It might not be as impactful, but I don't know. I've got reservations on that because they've got some characters that they've dropped have gotten people pretty hyped, but we'll talk about that later today. And also on Spotify, we got a couple of last minute answers too. One from C, like just the letter C. I didn't even know you could just use like the letters, like one letter as a Spotify name. Unlikely. Regardless of its quality, relaunching a game and reaching the same amount of hype is an up mountain battle. They didn't say hill, said up mountain battle. Okay, yeah, I mean, it is tough, absolutely, because, the game going essentially into the hyperbolic time chamber for a year, needing to be fixed. We talked about it last week, what they did wrong or what, kind of they tripped over, kind of left a bad impression. So are they willing to come back? Are they willing to give it a second try to try the game out? It really is, they have to do a lot. I mean, like I said, we'll talk more about that later in the episode, but I've got my thoughts on it. And then Formal Ghoul says, that would be cool. I want to hop back in just to play Jason, as in Jason Voorhees. But I think the roster right now needs to get better.
I agree with that. I actually really do agree with that.
I feel like that game is like, protagonist, who needs them?
Yeah, I mean, with the first season being puns and villainy,
Right.
they're focusing just on it seems like they're focusing clearly on the bad guys. But I mean, hey, giving it a try, sure, why not? New characters like Jason Voorhees, it was really cool to see. This is gonna be now Jason's second time in a fighting game that we're gonna have to deal with a matchup there. But maybe the roster does still need to get some work, but I'm sure, from what we've seen, they're working on that. There's definitely gonna be more to be grown on. But the base roster being what it is it's okay. It's okay. There's I think there might be some misses for people, but it'll take time. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for this week's question of the week, or rather last week's question of the week and poll. You guys can make sure to get involved on that on various ways, like our social media at DoubleTapFGC, of course, on our Discord, discord.gg/Discord, as well as podcast platforms like Spotify that lets us post up these questions. We have them all over. We'll have a new one for you guys this week to check out. In the meantime, let's jump into it, man. Combo Breaker 2024. Memorial Day weekend is behind us, which means another Combo Breaker is also behind us. And we had Static G out there, made the drive.
I did. However, well, we'll get there. Yes. I was gonna give a shout out, but I'll put it in the timeline. It's okay.
There you go. So Combo Breaker being one of the big, some of the big, considering probably like the big three, I want to say, in terms of events, right? I'm saying Evo, CEO, Combo are kind of like the big three you want to make. And luckily they're all in, they're all in the different areas in NA, right? ECL, East Coast, you got the Midwest with Combo, then you got Evo over on the West Coast. Combo Breaker has just been blowing up like crazy. This year was no different. Give us the breakdown, Static, let's go this way. Let's go. Give us the spectator experience, going there and what you're seeing, how it's presented, and how you felt being in that venue.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can give it as much as I can. Now, Thursday was the day that we did Combo Starter. We were at a different venue, so that was Thursday is usually the day where everybody commiserates, and then you can actually get your badge the first day, which is amazing because I didn't know that last year. This time I got my badge early. The day before, fine. You're saying hi to everybody, so that's when everything's starting to just simmer first, and then the full day comes through, and let me see. They had just back searches, so it's cool, but a little safe here and there. And as you pass through, it's all the signs tell you where everything is. So you have upstairs, it's all two, actually one main entrance, but they're all two hallways. So instantly upstairs you have stuff, but you always want to go to the main ballroom first. So the main room is huge. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 stages of video games, and in front of each stage is maybe about 8 to 10 setups of that game. Specific, and I can't really name anything specific because it would vary because there were so many games on the list for Combo Breaker.
There were.
And then all the vendors are right in the middle of the actual venue. However, that's not the only spot because there were a lot of vendors in the hallway. However, there were a lot of also vendors in the main anime room. Now, I say anime, it's the BYOC, the room that's actually open 24/7. That's where Third Strike happens. That's where I saw shout outs to Brianna and her plushies. She sold out again.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yo, yeah. Well, I forget what's her table called? Brie Lou or something like that.
I've got her card. I can go get it during a break.
But shout outs to her. I met her back in CEO. She does those awesome plushies. If you were at Combo Breaker seeing plushies getting sold around, that's the homie Brie. She's awesome. She's got and does incredible work.
Right, amazing. And so shout outs to her. And then you see Wave Chan, who also has all the Marvel, the Marvel cats and all that.
The Marvel
shout
cats.
Shout outs to DCB, Dynamic Custom Beadworks. They're all.
Shout outs to Curtis.
Now again, it felt like they overflowed on vendors, and I mean artist alley vendors, because they just go right into the anime room. It's they're all there. The problem with the anime room though, and the 24/7 room, it was hot.
So funk.
It was funky.
Oh no, we'll get to the funk in a second.
Yeah, but no, it was very hot. And I thought that the rest of the rooms would be hot. So I go upstairs and then I find Kyle playing arcades. What else, right? Kyle's playing on the pinball. 2XKO was there, but people were in line to actually get in line and try to play it. However, I was not getting in line.
Too long?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see anybody moving, and I'm like, yeah, guys, this ain't it. So I'm like, I can wait for maybe Evo and just see what I can do there. But there were pinballs, there was Marvel vs. Capcom 2, arcades everywhere, and the room was the AC. I was surprised.
I'm kind of curious for you. Did it feel more like a convention because of all the alleyways? Like, that was kind of like the big thing we always talk about, is like, is it becoming more of a convention state? Like, did you feel like as a spectator to some degree that it was just convention based?
Man, that's a good question, because I felt like everybody was playing. I really did. Combo Breaker is different, where it feels like everyone is playing. Everybody's got their arcade stick or snack box or hitbox or whatever. Like, everybody has something there that they want to do. And I'd only say it was convention. Like, you could say that it was, I don't know. I can't say convention. Like, it felt packed, but it never felt Evo packed.
Okay.
Like,
because that's what it
Evo
sounds like they're
Evo.
trying to do.
Well, I mean,
It's growing.
'Cause-
Combo Breaker is rapidly
Yeah.
growing, and also with the same management team that also does manage Evo.
Yeah.
Clearly they know how to deal with it. But I think I was gonna say good call on that message, because I was gonna ask that. It's like, there's a big difference for those that, if you don't go to enough events, there's the conventions and then there's the tournaments. There's like the conventions that have tournaments, and then there's tournaments that have some things of a convention, right? So striking that balance is kind of tough. But it sounds like Combo Breaker was kind of like in the middle of it all.
Even though it felt like it was, there was more space, because they also had an extra room, which was a mystery game room, the 2v2 mystery game. So that wasn't blended in with the arcade room. Last year it was, and it was super crowded. But this year they had a fourth room, and in the outside hallway they had a whole chess area, like chess.com, I think it was, and they were just tables for chess. I'm like, cool, I think. So maybe they were smart with space, more smart with space, but it felt like the same space as last year, except with that extra room. However, it did feel a bit overcrowded. Even though it was overcrowded, there were a lot more casuals happening outside in the extra hallway of the hotel, the Renaissance Hotel. I went out to go to somebody's room, and up the escalator and all around, just the entire lobby is just games happening, whether it's side games or whatever games. Like, hey, let's just have the homies here if we don't want to go upstairs and play.
So
it
was comfortable. It was still comfortable.
Very, very FGC, like old community style, Sheridan, old Biggie Hotel tournament type vibe.
Classic.
Yeah,
that's my favorite type of vibes. So what I was gonna ask you next is actually gonna be how was the competitive side, the competitive experience about it. But you're gonna tell us about that after we do this quick break real fast. When we come back, let's check it out how Static G dealt with actually playing in the tournament at Combo Breakers 2024. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back. Before I even ask this question to Static Gorilla, we're gonna see votes. How many people think he went 0-2 in all his brackets?
Well, you would be.
I got one hand up. That's me.
I went 0-1 in one bracket. That's a helpful one. There you go.
Wait.
Kind of right.
Wait, but in the mystery, it's a single, right?
No. The auction tournament was a single tournament.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was close.
Yeah. So
Marvel, really? Of all games?
Oh my gosh, tell me about it.
All right,
we'll get to that story.
You tell us about it. Tell us how was it? All right. So experience-wise as a spectator, everything looks like it was laid out. But as a competitor, now you're dealing with pools. You're dealing with being heard, getting called. We're doing multiple games. How'd that go?
Friday, I knew I had to play at 8 p.m. God, that's the hardest thing to do.
You're waiting. Night?
You're waiting all day, and then when you're trying to watch maybe your friends play, and I have friends, but the friends play Marvel. They don't play Street Fighter, so I'm not watching Street Fighter. Like, I had to sit around. I watched some people play Street Fighter like on the main stage. I was behind Yipes and Vicious while they're on commentary and just watching like some Akumas. I was watching Bass play and all these other guys. But man, it was a slog. I had to wait, and I was like, man, let me see if I can like get a drink to loosen myself up, because I had a huge breakfast. I'm like, I need the calories for all day. And well,
bro, all love for y'all. If I'm chilling and my game is like late, all love to everybody I'm there with, hanging out. Fuck that, I'm taking a nap. Like you will not catch me. Nah, I don't care. I will do my thing and I will take a nap because I'm not trying to come to that pool that first match with anything other than a couple hours behind me and ready, because I'm not sitting around, because by the end of the day you're like burnt out. So 8 p.m. pools, sometimes 8 p.m. pools could be just as bad as those 8 a.m. pools.
Yes, it was a slog fest, man. Because I'm trying to walk around the venue, get as much footage as I can, and when I'm done everything, I'm like, guys, I just don't feel like. And Marvel wasn't until the next day, so no Marvel heads were really playing. Like they may be playing casuals, so I'm just like, oh man, guys. So okay, Street Fighter comes along. I haven't played the patch. I only played the patch Thursday night at that event. And
it has like 90% of the people there probably too.
so I messed around. I was playing some guy using Zangief. I played Burkish. Shout out to Burkish, actually one of the NEC winners. He was playing with Rashid. And man, Chun-Li, man, she has slower walkback speed. You can't run away, man. You get scared. You get cornered. So I learned that the hard way. I lost to an Aki, and then I beat. And that's when I met this guy
Aki,
named
one of
Dad.
the winners of the patch, by the way.
Yes, huge. The 6-frame punishes, right? I met a listener by the name of Dad. Shout outs to Dad. He said he's been listening since the pandemic, and he was trying to listen for more Street Fighter stuff. And shout outs. And I gave him a sticker.
To Dad. Are you coming back with the milk?
Right. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious.
No, sorry. No.
I feel like he had that loaded up. He had that loaded up.
No, I just started off the cuff. I'm so good. No, shout outs to Dad.
Yeah.
Shout outs to any of the listeners that we do catch on a tournament. Thanks for being an awesome listener.
So it turns out he saw my name in the bracket and his friend had to play. His friend had to play somebody, and then if he won, he would have to play me. But that was the Aki player who got, I guess, pretty far.
Damn.
Yeah. Then in losers, this is a funny story. This guy, he places a camera in between me and him to like play, to watch
like
his
old
match.
school record.
Yeah. Like he places it like on a little tripod and it's like yay high, and I beat him, and I felt bad because he was like, I don't know what he was trying to watch. Like he was
him lose.
You should have popped off. You should have popped off.
Right?
And then you should have looked at the camera and just been like, yeah, I did that.
You would have to remember that forever.
You gotta remember this.
Remember this forever.
It's like, make sure to follow, double tap.
And then I should have gave him a sticker too. No, I gave a sticker to Dad.
Oh my
so
God,
Dad got
so rough.
Dad did get a sticker. No worries.
Oh shoot.
And then I
coveted item.
Then shout outs to the guy, the Ed player who beat me. Like it was kind of to the wire, but he did all right. It was fine. So that was Friday, man. At 8 o'clock.
That
pools
sounds like
were
a lot.
tough, man. Yeah, it was just. I was trying to keep myself upbeat, and I'm just tired. What's up?
Nothing. I'm just saying the live competition's it's a young man's game, Gabe. I think you're getting aged out, buddy.
Yeah, I don't mind doing commentary. You're right. Kind of right.
The other thing that's also rough about 8 p.m. pools is that like your homies, if they're playing other games, like they're doing their shit and then they're like going out. Like you don't even got the people to just fall back on and just bullshit with if you don't like coordinate a bit or something with them and be like, yo, I don't play till tonight. I'm like, damn. Yeah, yo, we're going out for fucking chicken and waffles. You coming? No, man, I gotta play. Like,
who's going to Culver's today?
Yeah, like, god damn, you're in the Midwest. I gotta go buy my tomato bread bowl, to go eat real fast.
Thursday,
that's what I say is deep dish. That's basically what it is. I'm sorry. Anyone from the Midwest can fight me on that. I'm sorry.
Thursday, I went to Culver's. So you're kind of right. So Saturday, I had early stuff. So I had 10 a.m. Third Strike and 12 p.m. Marvel. Ooh, okay. Third Strike. I felt hot for Third Strike. Friday night, I was playing casuals against this Hugo, and I felt good. I feel great. He was beating me, but I felt good. I felt great. So my first opponent, I beat my first opponent, and then there's like all these DQs, and I'm like, yo, okay, I got my first opponent. I got a DQ, and I had to play somebody named Corey Bell.
Oh, and you had to play Corey Bell?
I had to play Corey Bell.
I'm sorry.
Why does that name ring a bell? No pun intended there.
Apparently, he's a grappler player. He plays Hugo and destroys me.
Okay,
I
see that.
Third Strike.
Literally took me to. Yeah,
he's a West Coast player that I believe also plays. I think he's also a guy player, if I recall.
Yeah, like he ring. Yeah, like
he's Cody.
Cody
player.
Is he Cody?
Yeah.
Okay. He's one of the Final Fight players.
Well, he destroyed me. He took me to the corner. He meat squashed.
Oh wait, and Hugo actually he still technically works. Hugo, Andre. Yeah. Oh shit, he still keeps it within the realm. My man.
He meat squashed me to the corner and.
Pause.
It's on stream, by the way, so there's that fun.
Oh.
Yeah. And Vicious is like, I know Corey Bell, Static Gorilla. So,
don't mind me looking it up real quick.
Vampire, it's on Vampire Arcadia. Have your fun. Okay. So yeah, that was. But by the way, so the setups are like those wooden setups with like the arcade, the what's it called? Not the PCBs, but the where you connect your USB to the arcade, the old arcade setups. That's probably what they're gonna have the Evo for, the CRTs and all.
The Blast City joints.
Yep.
Yeah. They said they were gonna run those. It's fucking hella expensive to do it, but them sourcing it. But actually, hold up. Before you continue your story, I need to put this as a PSA. Did you, by chance, play any Akumas throughout all of Combo Breaker?
No, I didn't. But I used them. So no. Hear me out. I used them.
No. The reason I say that is that my bounty was not taken up then.
We put a bounty on you last week.
I put a bounty out on you last week on the show.
The community has failed us.
Maybe I just didn't get that far to get beaten by one. That's my fault.
That is true. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't worry. I'm gonna keep that bounty going for the next tournament he goes to. Don't worry.
Sorry, correction. Corey Bell is originally a Geef player who, when Hugo came out in Street Fighter 4, he played Hugo, then went back to Geef and then played Third Strike as well.
I was wondering where all the
makes sense.
Yeah, I was wondering where all the butter went because he churned up. I even told like the guys on off stage, Jamarvelous, he's a really good Chun player. And I was looking at him playing, or he was playing. He had to play him next, and I was like, dude, I was gonna meaty him with overhead, and I'm like, I didn't because he was gonna churn butter. And I was like, man, I was gonna EX and then stop and command grab, but he was gonna churn butter. Like
for those that don't know what churning butter means, all right, because that's some lingo right there. For those that are the casuals who just don't know, it's like when you're just like, you're just rotating.
It's the worst
that.
experience.
It's 360. Any grappler player has to do a 360 motion, get a grab. Yeah, so you're churning butter. That means my man is like rotating that his input's like crazy to just give you a hug. Is what's going on.
If it makes you feel any better, Gabe. He's also he was in grand finals for CEO 2019 Samurai Showdown, so he has probably the best spacing you were ever going to probably play against.
Yeah, no. We had good talks beforehand, and then I realized who he was, and I was like, oh no.
He's like, I'm fucked up.
Befriending your competition before playing. Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, you can't talk to him, bro. Then you know too much.
Yeah.
So for Marvel, that was interesting. First match I had to play was some guy, and then second match I had to play Hazy. That was interesting. You can, if you like, I'm not gonna get into it, but you can go to my Twitter to see my experience with that. And also in losers, I had to play another guy. I don't remember exactly who. And then I had to play Heroic in losers, who was another Chris player, and he got the best of me. But shout outs to all the Marvel heads. Like, they were there playing, and they came out the woodwork. I want to give a huge shout out to Living Legends Kid. His name is Kid Legend, 11 years old, putting in work on stream, and he's always putting in work on TNS, and he's going places. Now, granted, Marvel is not the most pot heavy friendly game right now, but at the same time, like, it's still a game that takes a lot of like mental stack, and for a kid of his age to be putting in work with like Doom, Nova Doom, Wesker, and like knowing and having the psychology of the game, he's fantastic. He's doing great. So still got good decisions to make, but eventually, man, like even with all the like, it's super interesting how like even in Street Fighter, like we're gonna get into the results of Street Fighter, but like the amount of young players that are getting up there. Shout out to Zach in the Box, who I remember being a young player back in like final round times when I was down there. Shout outs to No Other Prodigy and Chakote. Like, I really like how, I mean, you're never scared of the future of like fighting games of younger people getting good at them. There's always going to be a lot of intrigue into fighting games, and that's why I really like how like Combo Breaker gets bigger, and it's not a huge spectacle to say anything. Like, you go there and you're like, all right, these are games, they're on stage, there's no ring, like no shout, not trying to come at CEO or anything, but like it's just the games. It's like sit down casuals, BYOC, 24/7 games and funk. No, I'm kidding.
You know why we're here. We came all the way out here to fucking Chicago, get my coat disrespected by the air. Like, I'm here to play some fucking games. This is no time, no other time to waste.
Yeah, so that's my poem, my soliloquy.
So you rocked out competition. I mean, everything sounded like, did you hear anything about like any not to say like we're looking for problems, but like overall like the way the TOing went, the bracket running, did you see any problems with like your pools or anything like that?
Honestly, I haven't heard any horror stories because
me neither.
Out of pools, like pool running I felt was super competent, and it always is competent this year. Like I feel like they have a good system. Mind you, also that TNS was running it. Shout outs to, I believe it was Rick's wife, who also is on Twitter. She shouted out Tong for making it super easier, or Tampa Never Sleeps crew for making it all easier, from coming from production to running brackets to running stream times. Like everything I felt ran on time except for the auction bracket. It took forever, but everything was right on
the
time.
auction bracket. That's a bit of an X
It's just a
factor, for
specialty.
sure.
It's an exhibition. It is what it is.
Exactly. I bet. So, combo being overall a great experience.
Yeah.
What about
That was me. I was gonna say Sunday. Sunday, I was gonna. Well, Marvel started in the morning, so top 32 into top 8. But that's when they sort of clean up most of the setups, and then it's weird because I'm used to having Combo Breaker be like you had to sort of make a U-turn to the main stage, which was the main Combo Breaker stage, and that's where there were chairs just galore. It felt like your old FGC types, and I'm wondering if Evo's gonna feel that way. And I did watch some of Guilty Gear and Tekken and Street Fighter on a stage, and it's that old school feeling again.
where it's just like I've seen the shots. It's like you just see nothing but heads and bodies just go straight back. Like there's nothing else. It's just a sea of just breath.
And I never thought that they would get bigger than the last place Combo Breaker was a couple years back. And for this place to be here for the last 3 years, it's just exceed expectations. And even when I was there, I was like, I think they need a bigger spot.
Damn.
So eventually.
Well, what comes with that though. That's it comes with needing a bigger spot. Money, bigger money. So I don't know. I know you I think everybody likes the fact that it was basically it was just FGC. It was just games. No frills, stuff like that, which I can appreciate that. But now I think I don't know if they've been trying to get other attractions or other things to draw more people in. But if they go to a bigger space, you gotta draw more of a crowd in to kind of justify that. So we'll see what they do.
I always know, based off of just Frosty Frostings alone, they've added other stuff, right? So you have these other unique arcade games and vendors that are just different than what we would normally see, other than just arcade stuff. But I think for Combo Breaker, I think them going to a bigger venue is kind of hard because they also have to find a hotel that's close enough if they do pick a bigger venue. And this is kind of something we talked about in the past. How do we make it bigger without losing that connection to a hotel?
Yeah, this hotel is right. It's literally connected. It's the same carpet.
There is a ceiling. It's a two double-edged sword. You get more popular, you get more people in, but now you're gonna have more needs, you're gonna have more demand, and you're gonna have to have more resources in order to support that, right?
I'm sure it's on their radar. I'm sure it's on their radar.
They're incredibly smart people.
Yeah.
They deal with fucking Evo, obviously. They manage Evo and all that. They're not they're not gonna be they're not new to it. So it's
I'll say this.
It's still tricky though.
I'll say
because
this.
you can only work with what you have.
It sucks because they are Midwest, they are Chicago. What happens when it gets taken out of Chicago? Still stays in Midwest, but it's just not Chicago anymore. I think that's the biggest thing.
Honestly, I think it'll be fine.
I think that's what they're
gonna
going to have to aim for, though.
The thing is, even if they have to move to because I'm not familiar with the Chicago area, right? But if it's almost any other major metropolitan area outside of New York or Los Angeles, you'll have some of the larger convention centers sitting on the outskirts of the city, maybe just in the suburbs of the city, but people still consider it I think it's not the Philadelphia Convention Center. What's the one in Oaks? But it's
Oaks Convention Center. It's called the Philadelphia Expo.
Exactly.
Right.
That's where they do soccer and everything.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So they tend to do that. I guess the main thing is you said is making it easy for people to kind of get there, right? That's my problem with the Boston Convention Center, for example, is it's huge. Pain in the ass to get to, so depending
the
where
Lancaster
you are.
one. Lancaster Convention Center for NEC 2019.
So horrible.
But
I remember that shit. Yeah, that was a trip and a half. That was a trip and a half.
But no, this one is close to the airport. However, one thing I want to mention is that with the Artist Alley, the reason why I mentioned it's in 24/7 controller area, the games area. If you're not going into the 24/7 room, you're never going to see some of those vendors. And that had me concerned because I'm like, Wave Chan is a big vendor, and so is Bree, at least for me. But Wave Chan is huge. Wave Chan is huge, and she was in the arcade room, but in like tucked in a corner. And I'm not gonna say like, oh, they put her in the corner and she's like the biggest one. No, but like, still, like, do you have to know if they're there?
I feel like that was just maybe a cost thing. They were like, the closer you are to the center, you might be paying more, and it might have just not been beneficial. Even if so, I don't know. That's first come first serve. Maybe I know they do that for bigger conventions like MagFest and stuff. If you're not,
I don't know. Some people go to conventions for the Artist Alley. Like the Artist Alley was the most crowded area last year at Evo, but like I don't think people are going to Combo Breaker for Artist Alley. That's my take. I don't think so. But they might be because Curtis made his money back, and I saw him always selling it, and people like talking.
Maybe it might be that also might be growing. Hence why you're seeing it go out the room, down the hall, and around the corner, right?
Yeah. Real quick before we jump to the next thing, I'm just pretty curious because Gabe, you went last year too, right?
Yes.
Was there tons more vendors this time? Like tons more?
I think so because I don't remember them. I wasn't looking for it either. But I don't remember them. I would remember like some will be in the entrance of the 24/7 room, and maybe some on the side. But then there were like extra games on the side, and like there was extra space for the TOs that were managing the 24/7 room. Like so.
Yeah. I just think maybe this year people didn't expect to have more vendors, right? So that's something that I think they're going to account for next year.
I'm sure,
possibly, just audience people.
But you have to be smart because you got to give plenty of space to security. You have 2 entrances. You got people upstairs that also have an extra entrance that you have to put security there too. And then it's like, what about all the bathrooms? And then you don't want to block the bathrooms. You don't want a vendor next to a bathroom. That'd be weird,
It's a smart business plan.
Because everybody has to go to the bathroom.
Might also want, try to buy some artwork here after you've, please wash your hands. I know you didn't wash your hands. I saw you.
Yeah, they're going to go right back inside right after they buy art.
Deodorant?
Deodorant, bro. You know what? Speaking of which, actually, yeah. So I need you to attest to this. So this is the only thing that I saw really on Twitter Space that was like catching traction. Not even to the point that Rick actually tweeted about it.
Bring it to me.
How was the smell, man? Was Combo Breaker probably one of the worst smelling FGC tournaments you've been to? As like what some people have stated online right now, like this is bad, to the point that Rick was like, "Hey, please use deodorant. Help the world be a better place today." I changed nothing about that tweet.
Listen, I've had to do a double take a few times. Oof. Like when you walk by somebody, you have to look and be like, "Are they wearing a clean shirt or not?" And yeah, there were multiple times. And then the worst thing is Thursday night, there was like I said, one of those local tournaments, and they were trying to run it with 64 people so that they could have a Tekken dojo. So Frankie, for some reason, wanted to run Marvel, Dragon Ball, this, that, the other, up, down, left, right. And Big Dame was like, well, why don't we just do a Tekken dojo? And that started the whole thing because all of the players came out. Chikarin, even like South Korean players came out in droves too. So they're like, what is this? This is so crowded, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it stunk. That room stunk. And then that stink went through with everybody to the main room, kind of. But like, no, listen, like it was regular FGC stuff. For me, it's when you walk by like a group that's watching like a match happen, and then you just do that double take. You're like, whoa, I've never smelled that before. Are you okay? Like
it blows my mind. We haven't, outside of Tokido with what is it, Roto or whatever, because it's like self hygienic and self care products and stuff is like what they push. I'm surprised we have not had like an Old Spice like sponsor somewhere, or at least a hookup.
Why would they come when they're not using it? Why would they come when they're not using it?
Like, logic.
This is gonna go to waste.
I understand what you're saying. I understand the logic behind it.
We gotta make change, Ja. We gotta make change. The only way to do change is by being the change. Look, you have to. I don't give a fuck. I'll be like, yo, give me a couple of sticks, give me some gloves. I'm gonna run up on anybody. Or give me the spray. I don't even need the gloves. I don't even actually touch it.
No,
anybody I'm smelling. It's like you're just getting doused.
I think.
Please follow us on Twitter. Bam, and then run off.
I think Rick said it best. He said, "Please shower, use deodorant, help the world be a better place today." I don't think there's anything better than that. And then you said fighting games are the
Exactly.
greatest.
Yeah, fighting games are the greatest. But yeah, bro, like it's crazy to think. I did not expect that one. I was on my bingo card. I mean, there are, like you said, Static. There are players that you just walk by, sit by, or hell, most of the time you just smell.
The worst. I tell you,
smell somewhere. And you're like,
it's
trying to figure out where that's coming from.
my worst experience was playing Dragon Ball FighterZ in 2018 as CEO, where the player next to me just had ball shorts on, and I was just like, I think like he had basketball shorts, and I'm like, I think this guy is free balling. Like I was just like, oh no, and I just feel the musk, and I'm like,
it was all part of the strategy.
Yeah, somebody told me that too, and I'm like, oh no, Beerus will kill
Mix you up.
But like, yeah, there were multiple times, and it was more than 24/7 room because it was hot, and I was just like walking by, like, oh, no.
Yo, smell of the game, please, Arxis. If you're already gonna make up cologne, you might as well start pushing it out there. I don't know why you're not.
Should have already come with the collector's edition. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That came out late last week, by the way. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. Too late. It was too late, unfortunately. So besides that, we've got, of course, the event itself is an experience, whether you're a spectator or a competitor. But at the end of the day, though, we're there to see some dope ass matches. Like you said, tons of games. We're not gonna go through all of them. We'll go through some of the obvious picks, but any notables off the rip for you, Static?
I've watched almost all of Marvel. One of my favorite matches, again, shout outs to Kid Legend, he did great. DXP showing up late hilariously. Shout outs to Apology Boy getting top 16 in Street Fighter, top 32. He got 17th place. He did well at TNS 9. But he's one of my homies. He's like 17 and killing it in Street Fighter.
I talked to him too.
The new blood
for
just coming
some
up.
reason, he wants to teabag all these other players in Marvel and show off, and then gets handed to him to DXP. If you go watch the pools, all the comments in the pools for Marvel is, haha, this kid gets it. Haha, this kid gets it. Haha, this kid got it. So funny. But it's so much like camaraderie. Like I find it just hilarious.
So the entire Marvel bracket was fun to watch.
Oh yeah, you got Liber Terminator is training partners with Evasion. So for them to both go to winners finals and grand finals makes complete sense. Like they are fully in grind
Some
mode.
of the best right now.
Yes,
Not
exactly.
the best.
But regardless on that, shout outs to LT for just taking it.
Two-time combo breaker champion. And these
Right?
guys,
Yeah.
Two-time combo breaker
Back to
champion, top 4 in Evo, and Evasion top 2 at Evo. Lost to Jabril. Like, there's they're doing the work. Yeah. Besides that, I thought Guilty Gear was great. Like, oh my god, there is like that player, the Asuka player. There is one moment where he was
Zando.
He was throwing everything at oh my god, Omisho.
At everybody.
Yeah.
Omisho match was pretty sick.
There was just like cube after cube after cube after cube. I'm like, this guy gets it. And you know what's funny? If you look at his meter, if you look how he's managing the cards and the meter, this dude's thinking very fast. Like
hard.
Oh my!
He's like, oh, what I gotta do next?
Brother's gambling real tight.
Seto Kaiba. But yeah, I thought those were great matches, and of course Street Fighter, Chakotay taking it with Lily. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
I'm so happy that happened. I've been screaming she's the best in the game, and nobody believed me till now.
You know what? I don't know about best in the game, but the only thing that Lily winning the major has, which by the way, once again, still shout outs to El Chakotay. It was an incredible Armika player in Street Fighter 5, as well as probably the only Lucia player out there. Because I watched him for Lucia since I also played that character. Great guy, great attitude. Was always streaming, and had Lily from the rip. Was always playing Lily. I think he like dabbled a little bit, but Lily was always his main from the beginning of the game. The only thing that Lily has done in winning this, even in season 2 patch, right? Because season 1 is now, year 1 is behind us, season 1 is behind us now, is that clearly we still don't have this game figured out, like locked down, right? Like I don't care what, nobody's tier list would have had Lily, or no one's bracket would have had Lily winning. Absolutely.
Oh, shut up! No, I don't want to.
Shut up, Meza. Put that damn hand down.
That's messed up.
Nobody but Meza, I guess. But you know, Luke's being on in top 8. Top 8. Ed, technically a Zangief with Ramsey. Ed, Luke. Excuse me. Chun-Li, Kimberly with Shine, obviously, because Shine, is really Kimberly, but he also rocks Chun-Li.
Yep.
Just a Kid with Jury, duh.
Yeah.
Another Luke with dual Kevin, but using Rashid as well. And then another Luke with Noah, which that is just his character. Like, the go-to, and yet Lily.
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
I saw.
Hella stoked, because it went with the beams. It was great.
So when Noah beat Dual Kevin in winners, me, Holland, and Kenny went out to eat, and we walked outside. Immediately we see Noah, and we're like, "How'd you get outside?" You know what? Fine. He's outside, like on the phone, like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna try my best." And I'm like, "Oh, this kid, man, you gotta give it to him."
Damn, yeah, this kid, you about to get fucked up. Like,
he didn't know what he was getting into. Come on, let's be honest. I don't think anybody knew.
Hindsight's 2020, dog. If you would have told him, like, yeah, man, you better say you better make it a phone call. We gotta get this matchup going. But yeah, so Lily taking, Street Fighter 6, fucking incredible once again. Shout out to Shikoda. Shout out to everyone, in top 8, really everyone that played. There were just some really good matches for sure to watch. And then of course we had Tekken as well. That was just kind of a slugfest, to be honest. Slugfest of like memes and dreams is what kind of went down. It isn't just also in Tekken. Like Skullgirls was also unhinged. We won't go too crazy on Skullgirls, but we're talking about just like the attitude, the personalities we saw on stage. What was ended up showing up in front of the camera was just like incredible. The clowns, and even Tekken, with the clown nose, right? Like
I think
it did not stop.
I think the biggest thing, at least for Tekken, that people have to realize is, for Evo Japan, a lot of the Pakistani players were not allowed in. So this was their Evo. And them showing up, and even like all
Evo, but it was their chance to show up and show out.
Yeah,
right?
But it's like one of their Evos that they show up to that they would love to be at. And it's Evo Japan, it's where all the Middle East, EU, some North America will show up, but most of international players are showing up to that event.
Yeah, for sure.
And for them not to even be able to defend that title,
to make it,
or just show up or be allowed in. So I think it's really cool that they showed up to this in droves, and it was like it could be anybody's game. Even Nee had trouble. We saw all kinds of players from every place. I thought it was just really cool to see it again. It feels like the original Tekken.
Oof, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to counterattack that a little bit.
Why?
I feel like this Tekken is I don't want to.
Oh no, not the game itself. Not the game itself. I'm saying the player base. It feels like the original Tekken player base coming back out.
Well, if you were good at Tekken before, you're good at Tekken now. However, the steamroll in this game is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a little oppressive. But we're still in year one. Wait for season 2. We'll see what's up. But yeah, with AK taking the dub there.
Bring it back to the Philippines.
Yeah. And Arslan Ash with Nina in second place though was still good. But actually, top 8 had a really good variety of characters. There was actually no reoccurring character in top 8. We had technically 9 characters. We also had Jenin with Eddie and Reina. He was using both. While as even until I think 10th place, we were still getting different characters until you saw the most used character actually in top 16 was actually Jin of all characters.
Interestingly, I'm used to Anakin being top 8. I saw him there. He was not in top 8 at all.
He got 19. He tied for 17.
You got to understand, it was a real slugfest. And we watched a lot of Anakin's matches. He was dominating for some time, but ultimately, man, it's hard when you're playing Tekken and it's a new one and everybody's just learning their little tricks to the trade.
Hey.
I think this is it's funny, I think this is the hardest Tekken to play right now, even though it seems easy. And I say the hardest because
interesting take, my friend.
Yeah.
One day I'll tell you why. But it is, I think, the hardest Tekken to play right now.
Sados, but Joey Fury, I believe Joey Fury is local, right?
New York.
Or is it Chicago?
Yeah, New York area, I believe.
Okay.
Upstate.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know he was on FaZe. That threw me through a loop.
Yeah, he joined a bit ago.
Oh, okay. But yeah, just to round it out, yeah, Guilty Gear was also dope. It was a good variety as well of characters. Like the game I think is in just a great spot. Minus Hotashi constantly pushing for getting rid of Wild Assault. I get it. But I don't know. We'll see how the game continues to play out. Of course, with the new character, with Slayer, closing out that season and see what we get. Bless you. What we get afterwards. But yeah, it was still a great showing. Like I said, good variety of characters all over the place. We got to see Abba as well with Tiger Pop actually using Abba when they weren't using Happy Chaos. So we actually got some, some new character usage. I think actually the only player inside of top 32 that actually ended up playing some Alba, but it was overall like great matches. If you haven't, make sure to go check out the VOD, check out the matches, get some notes on, and see why these players are considered some of the best to join together and play over in Combo Breaker 2024. I think overall a great event to start off, Street Fighter 6 season 2. And to hopefully, usher in a bunch of new players coming in with some of the fighting games we're going to talk about in a little bit. So that's going to be it for Combo Breaker. We're going to be taking a quick break, guys. When we come back, like I said, we are in day 1 of Multiverse. We're going to talk about our early impressions. Some of us got to play it a couple hours already today. We'll get into it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, so with Combo Breaker 2024 behind us, we can just look forward to today, which is day 1, literally hour, I don't know, what is that, 8:50 for y'all? Like barely 12 hours, not even 12 hours. I think it's, actually I think it's like 13 hours for the console players. PC port came out a little later. Multiversus, it has relaunched. It is out, it is in full effect, and it is doing numbers, my friend. Last I checked, just on the Steam charts alone, at this point, Multiversus is rocking,
It's 100,004.
114,000 is been the 24-hour peak. 98,000 as of right now, but as of like even an hour or so ago, it was around the 114. Yeah, about the 114. That was the highest peak.
That's roughly no more than 30,000, roughly 40,000 off of what they actually peaked at.
All-time peak at 150. Yeah. That was
which it can get bigger.
Release and all that.
It can still get bigger. The game, some people don't even know about it, and people are going to talk.
So the game came out. I had a chance to sit down and play a couple of matches, kind of get into all the features, and kind of just get some first impression notes on some of the modes and all as well. Off the rip though, I want to say I think they did a great job in terms of the actual starting up the game, because when you start the game, I was expecting just a menu. Off the rip, no, it pushes you right into tutorial. Like, you are forced into a teach tutorial. It's only luckily 2 stages, but the cool thing about it is that it isn't your typical do this, right? Like, you're like in a training mode basically, and it's just telling you what to do. No, they kind of incorporated to like the story of the game. It's like Shaggy, there's like dialogue and everything there. Shaggy's talking to Batman. He's like, what the hell am I doing here? Batman's like, hey, just follow me. The game is already immediately telling you how to move. Like, hey, move, here are platforms, you jump, you can double jump.
You can also skip.
You can skip, you can dodge, you can go beneath.
I meant actually skip the text if you didn't want to wait.
Oh yeah, the skip the text, yeah.
Which I love. I mean, I'm someone who plays games that like you can't skip shit, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't have to really follow the tutorial.
Yeah, for those that are returning, for those that know, they're like, yeah, let's just go. I myself wanted to hear it out. I wanted to see how they designed this for the casual audience, right? The person who has never played the game, how are they going to experience it? It was really cool. It got me interested into hearing, because there's already now tidbits of like what the story is behind the game, which honestly I didn't even think about questioning why these characters were put, from these different worlds we're getting, or who did it, who brought them in or anything. There's already tidbits of it. So I'm actually interested. I'm already hooked. But the game just organically is able to show you, hey, this is how you move. Then you got Marvin the Martian with Mr. What the hell is that?
Mr. Meeseeks.
Meeseeks. Thank you. I started with an M. I still remember.
Meeseeks.
So now you just beat up on them. Yeah. But they do it kind of like it's funny. They do it like OG original Street Fighter / kind of Street Fighter 6 way, where they just put targets, basically a bunch of that character running around, and you're supposed to be able to just, in whatever way you want to do it, jump, punch, special, whatever, you're supposed to do it all. And the idea is to help you just get an idea for like, oh, air normals, and be able to move your character around and just kind of at least dip your toe in. It does that naturally. And I was like, you know what? Good job. Because one thing that I always gauge a fighting game on is the tutorial. Like in the past, like Guilty Gear has always been a really good, has been a good series that actually kind of has a really good tutorial, especially like an excerpt and such, how it actually, have you running through rings and such, a little bit more nuance to it than just, sitting you in a training room and just like do this left, right, and then, blink, no shade on other games that are doing it. But in terms of getting immersed in it and getting the casual audience to kind of not realize that they are picking up this, it's not a chore to do this, or rather they're naturally picking it up. That's kind of like what you want to gauge. That's kind of what you want to go for. And Multiversus already did that. Because as soon as you're done that, you're just doing a 2v1 against Marvin. Sorry, Marvin, you're getting jumped by Shaggy and Batman. And it's just a simple 2v1, just knock them out a couple times, and there you got. Now you've experienced the movement of your character, the kit of your character, and you put them in a practical, environment where you'll see, just playing on stage with someone and fighting against someone else. Bam, done. Tutorial, over. And then you're in. Yeah, exactly. Do whatever you want afterwards, right? It was actually a rift. It's one of the rifts, which is the new mode for Multiversus to do some PvE stuff in that you were in. So that's where the tutorial stays at, or that's where it lives at. And then you get brought in, man, right afterwards. And I don't know about you, but as soon as I got done the training,
I went to a match.
I didn't go to a match. I was about to, but as soon as I tried doing anything, I got kicked out.
You got kicked out.
They had maintenance. They had maintenance that was happening. That's why. So the game was getting just their servers were getting fucking hammered off the rip. Well, yes and no. It makes sense, but I'm like,
they should have been prepared like last time. They were slightly unprepared, and they should have been better now.
I'm surprised. Yeah, like I'm wondering why like they would. I mean, it's day one. Day one, it's gonna come with all kinds of lessons and learnings, right? But I was surprised that that they just were getting such an influx of players that they just couldn't handle, it seems. Because luckily the maintenance was only for like 30 minutes, which is fine.
I'm kind of curious.
I was just like still kind of blindsided by that.
I'm kind of curious because like for me, when I was menuing, it felt kind of delayed. I don't know if that was just me.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that too. So that it leads me to believe that maybe it was just more than just like, the influx of players and their servers maybe not handling it. Maybe there was something else on the back end that they kind of had to address, and it was something they had to address now before it got, maybe too out of hand, right? Yeah. But yeah, they did quick maintenance. After that, I got back in, and the first thing I did play a match as well.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if you went to the Rift first or.
I did play the match. What did you play? Did you just go on to just casual right now? Because there's no rank right now. So.
Well, I just went to straight to play a match just to see how the game felt. Yeah, 1v1. I didn't do 2v2 because I wanted to just see how the game felt, because I felt like 2v2 might be a little too chaotic for trying to fill the game out. Mm-hmm. I didn't really realize it until somebody told me, and then I started noticing more and more that the game is weirdly okay. So there's a few things. One, the characters are bigger than the stage, and that's not how it was before. That's very disturbing.
They're about 25%, I believe, bigger than they were previously. Yes,
which is weird because now you have.
It is a little strange.
It just feels like they're mismatched with the stages themselves. So that I would like them to reel back and probably make them like 15% bigger instead of 25. It just feels like I'm on the screen. There's too much. And that I don't get to enjoy the scenery of everything that is going on, because that is a part of it that I think is great. The maps that we go to,
the charm of it, yeah, some very iconic stages and places that we know of, right? For sure. What do you think of the speed? This is like the $1 million question real quick. What do you think of the speed of the game right now?
I think the speed of the game, realistically speaking, I'm not going to compare it to Smash or anything else because those games are 10 times faster. It reminds me of Brawl, but probably a little bit slower. I wouldn't say it's like a bad thing for this type of game, but I think when you do that, you have to make sure everything else is crisp.
Yeah, so the game is slower.
Yeah.
The game is slower, all right? We went from we weren't sure. We're going off footage. And like, is it slower? I don't know. I did play Multiversus before the new patch, so I was able to play the offline mode before this one came out. And I started playing this one. Yes, it is slower. But I'm going to put a caveat to it. The game is slower, but it's going to... The game gets faster as you get faster. I don't know if that makes full sense, but like eventually as I was kind of getting my muscle memory back and kind of my movement in the game, I kind of stopped noticing it as much because my tempo was already going way faster. But initially I was already feeling like, wow, they definitely did bring it down a little bit. But as I was actually playing, it started to kind of crisp up a bit. So I did matchmaking as well, but I did matchmaking with someone that I knew.
Okay.
That's back in the States because I wanted to test the rollback right off the rip. I was like, let me test the networking. EU to North America, East Coast.
How was that?
How is that going to be? The first 2 matches sucked because I got connection errors. I think that happened because of they did some potential maintenance afterwards. But my first 2 matches were like not too great because they both did freeze, and I eventually did get an error. And it was a lobby I hosted. Now, by the time I got to the 3rd match, and I think we did like 6-7 matches after that, no problem. It was good. It was solid. I was not having an issue whatsoever. The netcode was looking really good. It felt good. And mind you, I'm also just like, you know, I'm wired and everything, but this is like not even like my network that I really use right now. The backend is not something how I would optimize it, but it's generic. And I'm like, hey, it worked out just fine. So I was happy with that. I was really stoked that the rollback netcode that they were boasting like kind of really worked out there. I did end up playing normal matches afterwards as well with just randos. I was like, all right, cool. Like point, you know, me to someone that I know is gonna have a good setup. Works fine. Let's try the randos out there. I got into a bunch of matches. Never had a connection issue. Yeah, did not have a connection issue. And that was when I was playing those matches when I really started noticing this my tempo and my speed that I felt more comfortable with, and the netcode was allowing me to kind of stay consistently on that ass. I feel like, that's the scientific term. That's the scientific term.
I definitely felt when I played certain characters, like playing Arya made me feel like I was kind of being toxic towards myself. Like I was like, wow, I'm not playing the game very good. Like and I even tried to play it like Smash, and then I stopped and I played Wonder Woman. I was like, okay, let me go for this. This doesn't work like it used to. So like a lot of doing forward tilts, which is their like their combo,
airs,
their XX combo. That stuff wasn't working to cancel into the dash cancel that they have built into the system. So I was like, okay, so they did change something. But now I'm like, okay, now I have to reissue how I do things. And it did get better once I started figuring it out. I started playing Wonder Woman. I was moving faster. I do agree with that. But my biggest problem with the game right now, like on a playing wise, is the characters are too floaty, and when you do a move in the air, you still have this animation to do another move because they haven't touched ground. It's almost the weirdest thing because it's inconsistent when I touch ground and when I don't touch ground, and I can't tell the difference. So if like you're playing Smash or any other game, when you do like a jump air fast fall, you're not doing, and you hit somebody, you're not doing another move that's in the air. You're doing a move that's on the ground. Now, particularly, I think this is fine if they're going to do this with this game, but you have to give me the option to touch ground, especially because this game has a lot of hits done to it. You have to give me that option, and you also have to let me know when I'm allowed to do that option, not do that option, right? So that's where I kind of started feeling like the game was sloppy. It wasn't so much anything else but that was my only gripe until we get to the other aspects of the game, which is the store.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that. Let's run into Rift. Like, did you get a chance to try out the Rift at all?
I did not get a chance. I was kind of going through every little menu to see what they've changed, because it's a lot.
You know what? Yeah. Let's double back there. Yo, the UI. Does it feel like it's a lot to you? I feel I can get lost.
Man, I felt like I was playing Fortnite times 6. I was like, what is happening? Shit.
There's a lot of windows within windows. I was like, God damn, like.
He said times 6.
It is. Dude, I feel like I'm claiming stuff. I've seen exclamation points here and there. I go to it, then I got to go deeper into it.
It's very busy. It is very busy. I
liked their menu before, actually, I think
I might have liked their menu a little bit more before, but I mean, they just want they like, hey, listen, there's so much shit we're giving you guys, but I make sure you see it. I want you to see it, right? There's gonna be so much stuff for you to claim. I want to make sure it's as big as possible so you can claim, because it's like you can claim stuff, and then per character you can claim within their own stuff, and it's like then there's the event pass to claim, and I'm like, holy shit,
then
dude,
there's
like,
the battle pass.
Then there's the battle pass
stuff.
Yeah.
Dude,
so the UI is kind of like a little, I think it's a little all over the place, but I think it'll take time to get used to. But yeah, the Rift. So Rifts being the PvE aspect of this game, I'm a big fan of it. It's doing already what I thought it was going to do. So it is just strictly, like I said, PvE. You're not playing against another person, you're playing against bots, different parameters, different rule changes, sometimes no rules, sometimes these crazy broken rules. Even also mini games too are in there. I was doing the Joker one, which is the starting one that you can do dailies on and get rewarded for, which is really cool. I luckily also did it as the two with the same friend that I actually played matchmaking with. I was like, hey, jump on. I want to see what two-player.
Net connection was good too, right?
Yeah, not really any issues there. I felt like, honestly, I don't know if they're gonna, as we progress, because it's a long ass progression just to get through like one whole rift thing, because you have to go to a boss. I felt like when it was like, if it was 1v1 in a lot of these instances versus like 2v1 seems hella easy. Like you just jump at people. If it's like, oh, defeat Arya, I'm like, okay, Jason, you go that way, I'll go this way. It's like, what's she gonna do? Nothing. You're just gonna body her, right? But I think as it scales, if it scales with difficulty and it actually ramps up in a healthy way, not like just it's just going like this and not going like just like a straight vertical afterwards, then I think it'll be a great experience, especially for the casual audience that's gonna go in and able to just farm and do all these extra kind of like goals within matches to get more gleamium or more of the different like currencies in there, so you can just unlock more characters or cosmetics and stuff. It felt good. It did not feel like a chore. I was already getting a lot of stuff from the battle pass just from doing it. I was like, okay, cool. And that's just one. There's like several rifts that you can go through, which as they unlock more, you can always backtrack to other ones and try them out, because there's, like I said, there's a bunch of goals for like each one. So I was like, wow, that's a lot of content. There's a lot of shit to do here. I like it. And luckily also it wasn't forcing me to play certain characters. Like, sure, there were some things like, oh, do this as the Joker. I'm like, maybe I'll come back later when I'm maybe messing with a Joker and I'll actually do this, so that way I can maybe get a reward for it, right? But that was far few in between, so that felt really good. So I didn't have to worry about changing my character to actually accomplish that. So Rifts is looking really good. They look even better once we kind of also get through the rewards side. But yeah, let's talk Battle Pass. Let's talk the Battle Pass, the rewards. So if you were coming back, if you're a beta tester, you get the first Battle Pass for free, the premium version, everything, you get it for free. Or rather, you get the premium stuff for free, as in, as you progress, you actually will get the free stuff and the premium. The premium, you normally have to pay that Battle Pass for, but if you were a beta tester, you get that as a nice little gift.
Yeah.
Or if it's a nice little, my bad, sorry, I fucked up, here you go. Have Jason Voorhees first go, which I was like, sweet, I'll take that.
I will say this, I think that's great, but if you weren't a Battle Pass previous user, it feels like the most grimy Battle Pass I've ever seen in my life. I've talked to others, they said it feels straight out of Fortnite, because a lot of the things that you obtain in the Battle Pass, because I went through all of it, a lot of the rewards don't really add up to you getting characters. So if you do go through the Battle Pass without paying for it, you are barely grazing getting a character, a new character, outside of if you pay for it, right? It's almost insufficient, because every character costs 3,000 and you make barely just 3,000 through the Battle Pass, and that's free play. You're like right outside the scope of 3,000. So my gripe with this is, obviously I'm not gonna fill it, but I think casual players are gonna fill it. Like, they're given some characters,
well, that's what I'm saying. Things like Rifts is looking good, because you can also, like, it's a lot. That's the thing I was gonna bring up, is like the reward system. Like we said, like the UI, it's a lot. It is spread out. It's not just the Battle Pass. Like the Rift is gonna give you a lot of Gleamium. It's gonna give you a lot of fighter coins. It's a good thing.
No, it's great.
It's giving you a variety, so you don't have to just grind Battle Pass in order to get your character.
Yeah.
You can probably get it. You can get the character probably in half the time it would take you. I mean, granted, the Battle Pass is around for 8 weeks. It's 2 months.
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's not a bad timeline, to be honest. There's not a lot of pressure. We talked about it last week about like the pressures of trying to get through your dailies, and also that way you don't miss an opportunity or maybe a reward for your month's worth of grinding. But it is quite a lot, like all over the place. That's the only thing that I'm seeing, is like the reward system is very sporadic. It's like tough to kind of try to see like, where am I gonna get the most of my time, right? If I'm gonna put into it, where is that at? It looks like you're gonna have to do quite a bit of sleuthing to really understand that. But I think if they can work on a way to kind of maybe point you in a direction, like say if like you were looking at the currencies, it's like, oh, maybe one is maybe slightly more in this favor to go Rifts. If you want to say your goal is to get more fighters. Like, okay, well, the battle pass could be up to this level is like really good because you get the most return at this amount. But then if you kind of then, subsidize it with the rest of this Rift event, you're good, right? Like it gives you X amount of characters maybe. Maybe having something like that. Yeah, but right now it's like, it's a lot of, well, granted, we're in day fucking 1, bro. We're in fucking, not even day 1, we're in half a day. We're not even out. It's 12 hours in. We're still trying to, kind of get a feel for it.
Here's my thing though, like I have to look at the format how League did theirs, right? League lowers the characters based off of the level of play, like if the season that it came out. So like Sivir is probably like $450 right now just to get her, right? In using regular currency, but then like someone else might cost $13.50. In this game, everyone costs $3,000 except for the Joker because he's brand new, and he's $6,000. That's a lot. So for me, I mean, like, I would imagine this has to be somebody's daily game that they just play and just eventually get the currency to get the characters they want. Or we got to talk about the story.
Or just play the 2 characters that you want to play, and then maybe play the free versions that they have rotating weekly, right? Of characters that they allow out, right?
But I mean, that's what I think we have to lead into the Gleam system a little bit, because the Gleam system is, it's everywhere. It is when I say, I will say the cost to pay for things, this is kind of, I'm pretty sure Jock can actually chime in on this a little bit, because we're seeing the same thing they did with Tekken, same thing they did with Street Fighter. Leave me right outside the little bit that I need to pay for more. $5 isn't enough for a character. $5 isn't enough for a character. $10 is, but that's because they're doing a promotional right now where it's just 10% more. If that goes away,
$7.
Now I'm getting $450 instead of $500. And the characters cost $1,000, so now I have to go pay the $10. But what if I just was outside the range of having enough because of something on Gleam? Now I paid $5 and I still have Gleam left over. I don't want to pay $10. I want to pay like $5, but I can't because maybe it's only going to give me $450, give me $950 in total. And I got $50 missing. So they definitely harp on that, where a $50 package is like $6,000. But like realistically, you're only getting 2 characters, or I think it's like $6,500, and it leaves you that little bit left over to make you think that if I bought the $5, I'm right outside the range. I have to spend another $5, or I should have just spent 10. So they definitely gimmick you on that. I definitely think the cost for character packages are insanely high. They're like $3K, so that's about $30 for a package. And imagine if you had the character, you're only getting like 75 Gleam points off, so you're still paying $30 for like extra stuff without the character because you already have the character. I think it's just a little extreme.
I haven't done the numbers yet. I haven't done any of the number crunching when it comes to like the cost of buying a pass, or like what the passes actually are, gonna get you. Because I'm still trying to stick to the mindset of like it's a free to play game, right? Like how
absolutely.
far is that system going to let me go before either my time becomes so valuable that I'd rather just throw money at it, or B, there's a B's like, that I want something that I don't want to spend any time having to grind for and just go ahead and pay money for it, are really the options. I haven't seen it yet, so I have to like I'm gonna have to look into that myself to see. But if it's anything like that, because I think it's like what Capcom kind of is doing right now, right? When it comes to their with their fighter coin or whatever, where you have to pay the extra tier up, but you only needed like 1.5 and not like the full double. So now you're left with something left over that either you get these random songs. It forces you to either, if you want to get more, if you really want, or you just let it stagnate there and you just gave them the extra 250, 350 or whatever, and they're like, thank you.
I'll say
almost
this,
like a goddamn transactions fee.
I'll say this quick last thing that connects to it is prestige is another form of currency that you get through playing the game and unlocking skins
for a particular character. For a particular character.
No. Prestige is just an overall currency. You can play all the characters you want, but the prestige, this is the weird part. I don't know if it was different before, but they must have changed it. Because in the glossary, yes, they have a glossary of all these things, which I do love. I love that there's a glossary for every single terminology, all stuff in the game.
So much shit in the menu. I don't know what's what.
I had to press start and go to options. That's how I found the glossary. So it's another step. But in the glossary, it says prestige is earned through emotes, skins, and I think like one other thing off the top of my head. The thing that blows my mind is prestige. Like I have 23,000 prestige. I have no idea how the hell I got it, but unless you're paying or you're really grinding it out, you're not getting that Joker. What's the Joker that's like where he's like demented and
the Batman who laughs?
Yeah, that one. That's 100,000 prestige. Have fun, because they don't really give you anything to do that without grinding either really, really hard, extra hard, or I have to start buying skins and outfits and emotes and stuff like that, which is a little ridiculous.
Apparently it's not that ridiculous because I've already seen 3 of those motherfuckers in the matches. So somebody's buying them bitches and they seem to have no problem with it.
I just couldn't see the amount that I was receiving off of prestige, and prestige is like hidden. You have to literally go to that's the only thing I don't like is if you're gonna show me these different currencies, just show me all of them. Like I had to go to like the actual prestige page and like how much I have to pay for prestige characters, and I'm like, oh, now I can see how much prestige I have, and I just don't know how much I'm gaining throughout playing.
But overall, I mean, for the first 12-hour launch, overall it's been a kind of a mixed bag. Some people are stating the beta was in a better state. I say give it some time. The beta wasn't 100% the best when it came out. It did give some time to grow. I say we do the same thing here. Like I said, it's not even been 1 day yet. Wait for the weekend. Wait for the weekend where everyone's actually off and is going to be playing.
It's a free game.
What's the investment besides your time?
I think it'll only get better. I don't think it's in a bad state personally. I think it can only get better. It made me jump on. It makes me want to play a little bit more to see if I can enjoy it.
For sure. So with that, we're gonna be checking out some more multiverses. We're gonna be reporting back on that as things do develop for the game. I'm definitely gonna be putting some time with it. But we want to hear from you guys though. Are you guys going to be playing multiverses? Are you guys gonna be picking it up? Are you giving it the second chance now that it's launched? There are new characters that you want to check out. But overall, we just want to know: are you guys gonna give multiverses a second chance? We're gonna be putting up on our poll for this week. Just want to hear from the masses if you guys are going to give it a go. Let us know what you guys think. Check out once again. It's going to be on our Twitter. It's going to be on our YouTube, our community posts, on our Discord, all over the place, Spotify, all that. Go check it out once again for that. Get involved. And with that, we're actually going to be jumping into some quick character discussions. To round out this episode, we've got Akuma.
Thoughts?
He's strong. Akuma's powerful, man. He's got some ridiculous that teleport grab.
Yeah, I know.
Where when we talked about it and we were like, I don't know where the hell the utility is on this. There's a lot of utility for that damn fucking move. That move has a lot of ways to deal with jab, wake up, grab, safe jumps.
Not safe jump.
Neutral,
V reversal or reversal, drive reversal,
drive reversal. Yeah, wake up, drive reversal. Like it's got way more utility. So that one, I did not see that on my bingo card. Damage wise though, the Raging Demon being like this insane, like with this drive rush, like Raging Demon, like instant, like you can't escape it kind of deal. Like I'm scared.
One thing I forgot that I don't know if you guys mentioned last week was the parry hurt boxes have grown for grabs.
Yes.
And I mean, geez. I mean, for Akuma to grab from that far away for teleporting. Oof.
Yeah.
I think people
on punish counter too.
I think people have to realize this is probably the easiest character in the game right now. Like,
no, he does damage.
No. You want to play the game without caring?
Disagree.
This is the character. Okay, who do you think is easier?
Well, I would say he's not as easy because a lot of his moves need to cause force standing. Force standing is super important. You can't just go into Tatsu willy-nilly. If the person is crouching, you can't just do Tatsu.
Half his moveset though covers up that basis though by just restanding you.
Hold on. But I fought a Zangief without training mode. I fought a Zangief and I was like crouch jab, Tatsu. Missed. I mean completely missed.
That's normal.
Yeah, maybe that's not normal because some of the Tatsus in the other games start with a knee and they're like 3 frames off the ground. Actually, I'm thinking of Ken, but you know what I mean. He has startup that starts up off the ground, but you have to you have to learn. Oh snap! I need to do this. It wasn't until I actually played with him and I was like, medium punch. Oh, there's a target combo there, and I can drive rush. All right, let me medium drive rush, back fierce, do the thing.
That was gonna be my biggest thing when it comes to Akuma. My biggest kind of like note to him is that I think it's a combination of both. I think Meza is right in the sense of like, I think he is an easy character for you to kind of do well with, but at the same time, there are some nuances that you just have to know. Like there are some nuances, like you said, like the standing. You just have to know it isn't gonna be as easy as other characters where they can like jab, standing, like kick into something or whatever and get yourself like. No, you have to you have to know what route to take with him specifically in order for you to kind of like maximize, or even in some levels, just link those moves together correctly.
But EX dive kicking, homing in is really brain dead, dude.
Yeah,
like, I can understand that's easy.
That's just the EX one, though, right?
Yeah, if you're doing the other ones, you're gonna fly to the other part of the screen.
Yeah,
I don't know
for sure.
I feel like playing this character like for 2 seconds. I mean, I did a combo and I was like, just experimenting, and I was like, this shit is dumb. Like, there's no way I understand why he has the 900 HP. You could sit here and tell me otherwise.
Yeah,
he needs to have the 900 HP. Why? Because if he touches you even with a basic combo, a basic ass 3-hit, 4-hit combo, he's taking like 25% or more. It's a little insane. He's hitting harder than Marissa in most of the stuff.
And she's so much taller than him. It's crazy. But yeah, Akuma's looking really strong. Very early on. I mean, it's not really a surprise, but yeah, that he has to have that low health, or otherwise, I think he would just be too broken. But yeah, he has just been a tech monster's favorite character. Twitter is just all over him. There's so much tech to be discovered. I mean, obviously it's a new character, but it's Akuma. He just has a lot of very interesting interactions in this kit. So I think
you know who he reminds me of?
I think just because it was so short. I think it's just because it was so short before Combo Breaker is why we obviously didn't see a lot of him. I think we're just gonna see a shitload of him on the next tournament, the next major for sure. Like Evo is going to be fucking packed.
I think we got to see. I think we're.
Oh, CL, thank you.
Yeah, I think we're pretty in tandem with everybody when we say like he is the one character that I feel like he feels like Ed, and what I mean by that is he feels fun to play. He feels very easy to kind of just combo into a bunch of different things from different routes, which kind of all lead to, for at least Akuma, they all lead into kind of the big damage, no matter how you mess up the route, right? You could be like, I'm trying to, like, I have to do Tatsu to mess up the route, which with all the new moves that he has, you can't mess up the new route. It's just so easy. That's why I mean, like, I really just think, I haven't seen him on Modern yet, and I think that might just be just as brain dead easy.
Oh yeah,
because that's gonna restand for you.
I've heard stories already. I've already heard horror stories. Apparently, the one button demon does exist, which is like, whoa. Can't wait. So Akuma is out, and we're gonna see him develop. We're gonna definitely see on the next big tournament, which is CEO. Thanks for the correction, Static. That we're gonna see how this character really will stand against the rest of the cast. So not to be overshadowed, Akuma not being the only character we're gonna talk about here. We've got Guilty Gear in Slayer. Slayer, we trust.
My guy.
Static is just, yeah, you can't see it on his face. He's just so happy.
My dude, no. I love it. It's for some reason they decided to cancel 2D. Like 2D is cancelable. That is disgusting. You're canceling a slide, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of bonkers. I mean, you know what's funny? Slayer right now. So we got a breakdown on Slayer. We actually did get the character breakdown.
I think I got my conclusion from one of those GameSpot videos. GameSpot videos. Excuse me.
IGN.
There's a lot of IGN. There's a whole bunch of them out right now. GameSpot footage, I think, is what I saw. But go ahead, you were saying there was a character guide, move breakdown. Yes. Yeah,
the move breakdown. I mean, to be honest, they didn't change him a lot.
He doesn't have the unblockable.
Everybody, just a moment of silence for 6P.
It's there, but it's like not a show.
I said a moment of silence, goddammit.
Oh, you're right. Good.
Okay.
Thank God.
6B, basically the big back, the wide back, the shoulder blades of legends. It's no longer there. So now it's like it's like elbow or something like that he does. I don't understand why they couldn't just keep the animation. Like, I just don't understand. Like, you could have just kept the animation. Why the hell would you want to change that? But everything else, man, Pile Bunker, in Dandy Step, you know, it's there. The one move is a little different. He doesn't have the kick, right? He now has the
it's a low.
It's the low one now, right? Yeah. He does. It's like the weird step forward one, whatever it's called. He has that now. The Master's Hammer is there, which is like dope. That is like, it's a little different, but it's essentially the same. It's like when he does the overhead, but now you can do some weird like knockdown, cross up to Master's Hammer over, cross up, overhead. And it's like, oh my God, he's going to be all over. He's one of those characters, once you get into a flow, it is damn near impossible to just get out of it, to just stop him. As it should be, to be honest. Because also a lot of his moves are pretty heavy, man, in the sense of like, there's several of them that are not like great. Like, he's a high risk, high reward character through and through. That's the point of what he does. That's his game plan. But yeah, he looks like he's still going to be effective. We get to see obviously what we expected, the universal mode, right after he gets a bite from you, the blood-sucking universe. You actually get the universe counter or effect afterwards while he's in that state, which then allows you to open up to even more like just gnarly hits. So once you get bit, 9 times out of 10 your opponent is now on the defensive, right? It's kind of like Nago taking a bite out of you. You're like, oh shit, he's gonna go nuts, because now he has no limits, right? He broke the chains. Yeah, it's the same way with Slayer. And the one that actually got me, I don't know if you really thought about this move too much, is the Hand of Doom. The one where he actually, during the teleport back, and he actually does like the palms. So it's like a really easy way to kind of do a reversal, like a very invo friendly reversal.
Yep, it's bananas.
Yeah, this man has a lot. His super Mappa hunch, the power up.
Why
button.
they changed the name?
I know. Fully invo, but then also after what's his normal punch again? The Pile Bunker, right?
Pile Bunker. That's his Dandy Step punch. Yes.
Yeah. After that, you can follow up with it from like half screen, which is fucking nuts. Like, his damage is insane. The Last Horizon, which is his other super move, the one that we saw that he takes a bite, very cinematic, becomes all young and such. First of all, that shit is so exaggerated, and it's so on fucking par with this character. It is so on brand for what he is. The other thing though is the fucking damage.
But it uses 100 meter.
But thank you. It uses 100 meters. So the reason I want to say that's also very important is that now ArcSys is looking at accepting that maybe we can start looking at the tension gauge a little differently. I would not be surprised if this helps us, because I think they're testing the waters to be like, oh, well, what if we had a super that takes up the full tension bar, right? Or something like that. Could we see a path that maybe they might look into, maybe like, should we increase the tension bar? Because I think the tension bar should be. I originally said 4. Let the tension bar be 3.
3.
Let's go. Man. Let's do middleman. Let's do middleman and give me 3 tension bar, because I think RC and having moves like this, like, I mean, for the characters, it's right now it's kind of isolated to just Slayer. But if they start messing with the formula with other characters, they're gonna have to eventually, deal with that. They're gonna have to, visit that potential problem.
Man, they've done so much modifying that I don't even want it. I don't even want the multi-tension guard. I think the 4, which has like, remember how in
traditionally,
I'm showing my old man yells at Cloud again, but you had the green, then the was it red, and then
red, yellow, then red was
yellow,
full,
and then yellow and gold.
Yeah.
So like, you had all of those there were different things you could do with all 4. Like, and it was how was it? I think it was Slash or whatever Accent Core was. It was a risk to even use 25% because you had to do the force ones, which were like 1 to 2 to 3 frames of cancellation of a Roman cancel. So yeah, I think there should be maybe a 4. Like I like the 4 idea, but at least some of them have multiple use, not like all 4 of them have like a EX or OD or force break use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember force break?
Remember force break? Yeah, them days. But yeah, so Slayer's coming through with just insane damage, insane moves, insane offense, and like I said, the first move for the first super in this game to actually use 100 tension. So
yeah,
potentially a change in the tides as to what, like I said, Arceus might do.
I think that's weak. I mean,
Really?
yes, it's a raging demon. Yes, it goes forward. It's probably going to go through certain moves. Okay.
It's a strike move.
Yeah. However, like I like command grabs where you can fake RC, do it if you're going to use 100 tension. I mean, I've done that with Eno, where I've done stroke tree, instant like RC, and then super. Like people are going to block that, and you're not doing that with this unless you're like dandy stepping, faking, and then you have to condition really hard on your opponent.
If this move was 50 tension, bro, like matches would be done so fast.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like, oh, you literally guessed wrong twice.
So yeah,
GG.
I'm thinking that backdash move is also a callback to his Mappa Punch teleport invincibility.
Yeah.
Because remember, you were able to, if you would teleport and you super jump cancel the next move, you'd keep the invincibility of
the
the
invo
teleport.
frames.
Yes.
Correct. It made them very dangerous.
I wonder if they're going to use those stocks, because I don't know. I don't even know if they use stocks for chip like they did in this one. That's a deep cut. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, so Slayer is still, he's gonna be coming out. I think it's the
30th.
30th, sorry.
Yes.
The 30th. Thank you. So at the end of this month, you'll be out.
Breaking news I just saw. Tomorrow comes out the trailer for Homelander. Tomorrow the 29th at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
All right, well, we'll make sure to stay tuned for next week's episode as we break that one down. And with that, that's actually going to be closing out this week on this episode of Double Tap. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. I know it was a long one, but hey, Combo Breaker had to be talked about. Static G had to tell us how he didn't go 0-2 in different brackets.
And I didn't interrupt anybody by coaching them on stage. That'd be weird. Imagine
that'd be kind of strange.
That wasn't me. That was somebody else who shouldn't have done it. Just saying.
Easy way to get your pass revoked and completely banned, unfortunately, on that one. All right, so with that, guys, once again, that's going to be it for us this week. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. You can check out my awesome hosts here. Make sure to check out some Meza at Meza FGC on all social media platforms, as well as on Twitch when he's streaming.
Everything. No, I'm just kidding. I've been doing still DFO stuff. We're moving further into the season, as well as been streaming a challenge for myself to stream Withering Waves at least 2 hours minimum. I try to do it every day, but a 30-day challenge. So I put myself through that. It's pretty good so far. It's fun.
Maybe some Multiversus is in the mix for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to throw more games in there. It's a lot. Time, a lot of games.
Absolutely. Static G, of course, at Static Gorilla on all social media platforms, as well on Twitch. You can check him out on TNS. Maybe Multiversus if he wants to play it this time around a little bit more than in a couple minutes. We don't know. Maybe.
I'm open to stop it. Thank you. I'm open to playing new games. Sure. However, this week I'm going to be trying more Akuma because I haven't had him at all, thanks to my travels. And also wanted to we're gonna be playing Slayer Thursday. Well, Thursday night is gonna be at the lab, but we're gonna be playing Slayer all day Friday. Actually, there's no TNS Marvel this Friday, so it's gonna be Slayer and Akuma all week long.
I guess I'm playing him with his Slayer.
Yeah, we're playing Guilty Gear. Let's do that.
There you go. Of course, you can check out at Josh Stradamus at Blue Sky, and of course on Twitter.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not doing anything. I'm trying to finish Final Fantasy.
He's just trying to finish. Yeah, he's just stuck. He's stuck on the rebirth.
I'm just trying to finish the game. I've been playing since I started playing it a week after it came out. A week after it came out, and I'm still playing it.
Are you trying to platinum it?
No, I'm trying to finish it, Meza.
I'm
trying to finish it.
There's a girl who literally platinumed it. She's like, I sacrificed my life for it. Why?
Yeah.
All right.
So that is it for me.
There you go. So you guys can check me out at #VS, of course, on Twitter. I'm also behind usually the Double Tap FGC Twitter page on all social media. Make sure to check us out there. Make sure to follow us there. Of course, on YouTube as well. We do post up some awesome shorts and full videos of these podcasts, as well as our community posts are there. Once again, guys, if you want to get involved in our polls, question of the weeks, or any kind of questions we actually just want to bring up to you guys and get involved in, check us out on all social media platforms as well as on our Discord. Join us there. Check out our awesome community over there. That is, of course, at doubletap.gg/Discord. Come check us out. Come hang out with us. Subscribe to the YouTube once again so you get notified when you get some new videos there to go check out as well. Engage. It helps a whole lot out, as well as your favorite podcast platform of choice. You guys can help us out as well by sharing the show, liking, retweeting. We post up when it goes live. We put it up on Reddit as well. We get it all over the place. Liking, retweeting, commenting, all that is super helpful. We do appreciate everyone that's been tagging us on Twitter as well, on social medias about interesting articles, things we want to check out. We do appreciate it. Keeps our eyes, keeps our fingers on the pulse of the fighting game community. It's very vast, it's very big. Sometimes we might miss something, but thanks to awesome listeners to you guys that tag us and let us know about things. We do appreciate it. And rating and reviewing the show helps out a whole lot. You got a podcast platform you're listening on, rating the show helps a whole lot out. Let us know what we're doing right, so we keep on doing it, and lets us know what we're doing wrong. Go back to the training stage, work on that matchup, and come back stronger than ever. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll be live with another episode next week. Of course, we'll be talking Homelander apparently as soon as that drops tomorrow. But stay tuned after the show to hear about other shows here on the Mash Those Buttons Network. I've been Crash, that's been Ja, that's been Mezza, and that's been Static. Yes. And we'll see you guys next week. Later.
Peace. Take a shower.